I'm going to address another thing. There are a lot of people, again, that want to be on this path, but they would be much better off to be spending the time coming for the counseling rather than to think they're going to get it through the group. Because the counseling is much more hard-hitting and much more rapid, to get to the bottom of some issues. And if you're not ready to see your issues, how are you going to navigate through it? Again. So, these things have been available to people, but they haven't, they haven't taken advantage of that. And so again, this is why, some of that stuff is being dropped. Because people say they want counseling, then they don't follow through. There is no follow through in it. And it's not going to work if there is no follow through. Right. It takes more than one session, to get to the bottom of things. It takes some action on your part to get to the bottom of things. It takes making changes in your life.
More challenging that way, for sure, that counseling.
Well, yeah.
That's why people don't come to it, maybe.
It is. People think if they come and they don't have the counseling, that they'll have, it's easier. They think they'll get it through that, but you're not going to see those things unless you're at the very end of the path. You're not going to get it yourself unless you're at the very end point, which can take, 40 years. It could take a couple lifetimes before you get to that point.
Well, that's it, and that's what I was saying. When you're in the thick of it, you can't see what's there and what's
right.
not there.
You don't see what's there.
And
you really don't.
Things and think you're way, all this progress, all this, and you really don't know because you're in the thick of it.
Right.
It's the truth of it, and then you've deluded yourself more.
Exactly.
It's sad to say, but true.
That is the truth of it. So again, there have been things that have been made available to people, and they haven't taken advantage of it. Because I think they can do it on the cheap this way, and it's going to be the same thing.
That's true too.
And again, it's difficult to get beyond ego, but you're not going to do it if ego's not strong enough. And it's that kind of a paradoxical thing. It's got to be strong enough to be able to lay it down and really confront it.
Have that will,
Exactly. If you're not ready to confront it, if you're not strong enough to confront it, you're going to keep trying to build a nest around it.
Yeah, there's a lot,
you keep running away from it. You do everything you can to, and then the path gets misused again. So again, there's times and places for everything. But people are so afraid of seeing what's there. And if you can't see it, you can't change it. That's it, 100%. If you can't see it, you're not willing to see it, you're not willing to confront it, you're going to do everything you can to hide it, to run from it, to be in denial of it, and nothing's going to get handled. You'll keep running in the same treadmill you've been running, trying to overcompensate or buying into it. I don't care which way, it's misery. So again,
An endless kind of cycle.
it's a cycle. Exactly. It's exactly. You know, same thing. Why do people continue to use drugs? Because they've got issues they're not willing to look at. They're self-medicating. Same thing. If they don't get to the bottom, they don't see what the issues are. They don't come to, you know, some sort of a, you know, a changing of it, getting to the bottom. They will continue the same cycle. That's why 99% of the programs for drug abuse, etc., don't work. They don't really address or look deep enough to find out why that is starting to begin with. They're not willing to make the changes in their life. They think all I have to do is get cleaned up, and they go right back into the same situation, another stressor, and they're right back in the same drama again. And it doesn't matter what the drama is, one continues on the same treadmills of trying to be in denial, overcompensation, whichever it is. You know? So it's one thing to say, oh, you know, be in the moment. Most people don't know what it is to be in the moment. They think they do, they don't. You know, again, so things get taken out of context. What you're trying to teach them, they say, yes, I heard it, I got it, yet their spin on it is 180 degrees away from what's being said. And I've found this so many times as well. You tell them something, oh yes, I've got it, and then when you really delve into it, they're doing 180 degrees away from what you're saying to be done. It gets so twisted into another way to protect themselves. Rather than pulling away layers, they're finding a way to use it to create another layer.
Which is ego
It's like, it's amazing.
It is.
It's amazing. So again, you know, there's a lot of times that the counseling is the best thing. Especially if you're here and you want to get your life on track in some way, shape, or form. Then get to the bottom of your issues. That's a way to start to get your life on track.
And then maybe you can start steadying out and
At that point, then you can make a choice whether you're, you know, ready to go forward or not.
have
You
a little
know,
more clarity.
there's some more clarity there at that point.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what people need. They need to come to more clarity
Yes.
about what's going on in their life. You know, people can be here on this path for 5-6 years, and finally something starts to get revealed that should have been, you know,
Yeah, we've seen
should
it a
have been
lot.
anteed up years ago.
Absolutely.
Years ago.
Some of our longest standing students.
It takes 5-6
Found
years
out some
before they
zingers.
finally, you know,
Yeah.
something begins to emerge as to what's driving them. And again, it can't be, you know, if it's not divulged, if you're in denial about it, it's not going to change. You will stay in that same cycle of pain and suffering and drama. I don't care if you come here and you want to try to, I don't care if you want to take sannyas, I don't care what you want to do to try to make yourself better.
Still going to be there.
It's still going to be there because it hasn't been addressed.
For sure. For sure. That's not going to take it away.
It's not going to take it away.
It can make it worse sometimes.
Yeah, it can make it worse sometimes because again, then you're saying, oh, I'm this, you know, whatever their projection is on sannyas or whatever it is, or whatever spiritual path they go on. Again, they're trying to make another covering.
Right.
So it's being misused. It's a hideout. It's a dodge.
Or something else to cling to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, so what benefit is it? It's being not done in a right manner.
Sure.
So again, this is not the typical spiritual path here. This is really about getting to the bottom of your drama and stuff. A lot of people come into spiritual paths and they want a buddy crowd and they want everybody to sympathize with them and this and that, and again, that's not what it's about here. People come here and they think they're going to be their own psychologist. It's not going to happen. Again, for you to see what's really going on and to be able to unravel those knots, you have to really be at the end of the path, where the last of those threads are being cut. Then at that point you can see what's going on and can navigate through it. If you're not at that point, there's no way.
That's impossible. It's
There's
like
no
being
way.
in thick mud and thinking you can see. It's just
Exactly. Exactly.
Nope. You gotta have that clarity and be out of it enough.
Exactly.
Have that discernment.
So again, I want to get more clarity with people. I've said these things so many times before, but they're just not being heard. They're not being heard.
It goes back to that same kind of groove again, always.
It's always the same thing. It comes every 6 months or so, where it's time to shake the tree again and see what stays and what falls. But it comes to that point because you get so much dead weight and you continue to see the same thing, people just beating their head against the wall, and you don't want to see people continue to suffer. So again, you have to go in and say, let me help you down the road then, because you got to get your journey going in some direction.
Choose another direction.
Choose some direction, but go some direction. Fully go in a direction. If you're here and you need the counseling, do the counseling. Don't be walking the path rather than trying to walk the path rather than doing the counseling. If you're not to the point of walking the path, don't be trying to walk the path because you're not ready for it. Then stop it. Have the counseling instead.
Much more productive.
Much more productive.
Definitely.
Because again, you got to have enough, enough of the handle on ego stuff to know that you need some clarity along the way, rather than thinking you're going to be your own psychologist or whatever, and well, that brings up another thing entirely. Some of the psychology and stuff really needs to go through some extreme changes, because a lot of times the way it's done is it just winds up ingraining things. So people don't need that. They need to have a way to be able to look deeper and be able to find a way to see it. And there is a way to see it, but you got to know what to look for. Okay? That only comes when you're finally out of it and you can look and you can see what direction to give people to go to do that. Okay? So again, I'm just going to put that out there, put it out for what it is. People can either hear it or not. And that's that. So again, I'm not going to be popular today. This is not Guruji's popularity contest anytime soon. That's okay. I'm not here to win a popularity contest. Yeah, no, I'm not here to win a popularity contest. It's not going to happen, and that's fine too. So anyway, namaste.
That's good. That's